Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is finally here. The Eve Spectrum monitor is in the house. Yes, that's right. After several months of waiting, it is finally here, and I am excited. I hope you are excited too. The one I have with me is a 4K, 144Hz, 27-inch. Yes, that is a tongueful, but it is finally here. So I'm going to give you guys my thoughts, my first impressions, and you let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section as well. I hope you guys enjoy this. Let's check it out. All right, so the first thing I wanted to point out is the packaging. The packaging does look like a lot of thought was put into it, and I appreciate that. There's also this little card here. The card's not really necessary, but it's also a very nice touch. It's just nice to have. And then the next thing I want to point out is the power brick. The power brick is actually fairly large, a lot larger than most monitor power bricks. So that's something you're gonna have to work with, because the problem is that the cable that comes with it is rather short. I'm not sure why they did it like that, but that's just what we have to work with. The next thing I want to note is this fabric over the monitor. It's a very nice plush fabric. It feels very, very nice, like some actual quality in there. I wanted to point out here is the monitor itself is fairly large and heavy. It's pretty heavy because of the back. The back of it is rather, just heavy in general. But it does have a nice premium feel to it. It does have a nice finish on the back. The buttons all feel sturdy and like they would actually last a long time. I also wanted to point out that this monitor does have a built-in hub with several different ports for your needs, but more on that later. The next thing I wanted to do is unbox the stand. The stand's packaging looks a little flimsy, but the actual stand itself, it is a very durable material. It's made out of the same metal, and you're gonna feel it when you start putting it together, because the stand itself is actually really heavy, and that makes it feel more premium, and the fact that it's so heavy makes me comfortable that it's not gonna tip over. Now, one thing I wanted to point out is the stand itself, it does not swivel left to right. It does go up and down though, and it can also be rotated as well. You can adjust the height of the stand itself, so if you want it to be higher or lower depending on your eye level, you can adjust it. And just one thing I wanted to caution, the power brick gets extremely hot, as does the screen. As you can see here, I'm comparing the screen to my Samsung monitor. And can we take a moment just to appreciate the minimalist design that the community asked for and Eve delivered on? Because gaming monitors tend to look like gaming monitors. And the problem with that is they look awkward pretty much anywhere else besides a teenager's bedroom. But with this new sleek design, it looks like a modern workplace monitor with some slight refinements. And this way you can bring a girl back home and she's not gonna be like, oh God, he's a gamer.
This is goodbye. I'm gonna probably take your car though.
And as I did mention before, the back of the monitor does have a built-in hub. So you can see here, you have your DP port, your two HDMI 2.1 ports, which makes it compatible with next-gen consoles. You have your USB-A, USB-B, and USB-C ports, as well as your auxiliary port. So the interface for the monitor itself is actually pretty great. So you can actually select your input source, your hub device. There's several different things you can do in here. In gaming, you actually can modify the crosshair on or off. You can set the frame rate counter as well, which comes in handy because the frame rate, you could track the frame rate as you're playing. You have your presets. These are ones you could save. Your picture, your regular picture settings. You also do have your performance setup, so you can turn adaptive sync on or off. Your OSD is just your typical stuff there. And then your indicator lights, that's just the light at the bottom of the monitor. Now, at this point, I could just bore you and tell you all about the technical specifications. It's got 750 nits of peak brightness and yada, 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 but you probably don't really care. You want to know, is it a good monitor? Is it good for gaming? And should you buy it? This monitor's gaming experience is phenomenal, especially coming from a console. If you have Xbox Series X or a PS5, you're going to notice the difference, especially tapping into the HDMI 2.1 power. You're going to be able to output 120 FPS, which the PC players have already been on for quite some time, but now the console players get a chance. As far as the color and contrast, everything is amazing. It's not quite on OLED scale, but considering the price, I think this is acceptable. My only gripe with this so far on this monitor is the HDR. It does not seem to be as high of a level as I would like it, but it's acceptable. So is it a good monitor? Yes, in my opinion, but should you buy it? Well, that all depends on your use case. Why are you buying a new monitor? Are you buying it so that you can edit HDR photos? If that's the case, I would say no, there are better options out there. However, if you are a next-gen console player and you play on an Xbox Series X or PS5, I highly recommend this monitor. I think it is a great bang for the buck. Now, as something I forgot to mention before, the Eve community actually has a forum, and you can actually add any issues that you have, such as me. I have my HD60S Plus is not compatible with the monitor for some reason. So I reported to the community forums, and hopefully one of their techs will pick up on it. And with this monitor, you get firmware updates that are routinely pushed out. So hopefully they will address my HD60S Plus issue in the next firmware update. Who knows? But there are other options out there as well. So if you don't feel good going with a small company like Eve, there is the Acer Nitro and the LG Ultra Gear. Those are priced a little higher at $899.99, but those are just some other options. And there you have it, the Eve Spectrum monitor in all its beauty. And that's all, folks. I try to make this as short and sweet as possible for you. Hopefully you found it useful. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe. It does help the channel out. And if you have an Eve monitor yourself, go ahead and leave a comment down below and let everybody else know your experience. And if you have any questions regarding the Eve monitor, also leave it down below and I'll do my best to answer them. Until next time.